Hi friends, welcome to A to Z Learning channel. We are an organization which have taken the passion of simplifying the world of financial products. Today, we are picking up the topic of tax payments. Yes, it doesn't matter who you are, what you do for your livelihood, you hate paying taxes. It's a it's a feeling that is common across all strata of people, whether you live in India, whether you live anywhere in the world. I think feeling towards tax payment is common. That's a that's a feeling which involves huge hatred. So why do people hate paying taxes? I think it's an important question that we need to deal with it. Whether you are a salary person, when you look at your payslip and you look at that huge amount of tax that you are paying on a monthly basis, you hate it. Whether you are a businessman, self-employing person who's paying regularly all those advanced tax payments in India, but in spite of paying all those advanced tax payment, at the year end, when your CA calls you and say that this is the last date and you need to pay this much extra tax to to make sure that you have paid all your dues, you hate it. So this feeling of hatred towards tax payment has evolved over the years. While it's common across all the countries in the world, but it stands out particularly in India for a number of reasons. So in this video, we help you analyze why do people hate paying taxes. But we are not going to leave it there. We are not a problem organization. We talk about problem, we help you understand the problem, but we also talk about the practical ideas that policymakers, our finance ministry in India, our PM office could consider. So we'll tag this video to them as well so that they look at some of these practical ideas as part of their policy framework so that we move towards making sure that tax payments are not most hated items in India. In fact, people are rushing to pay taxes. How do we change that mindset of the people? We'll talk about all this in this video. So it's an important video if you are interested in a tax concept, tax payment topic, then you don't want to be missing this video. So without a further delay, without anything to do, without any further delay, let's start our video. As I said, the key question that we are going to get to the bottom is why do we hate tax payments? Let's remind ourselves first of all with some of the key facts. Do you know in India the overall population is fast approaching to a number of 150 crore. How many people actually pay taxes in India? It's only 1.5 crore. So 1% of the total population is actually paying taxes. In fact, you won't believe that our tax-paying population is less than the number of cars that are there in India. Cars are double the level that are paying the taxes. If you look at smartphones, there are 70 crore smartphones in India, but only 1.5 crore taxpayer. So somewhere there is there is this gap that a lot of people who from a government perspective should be paying taxes are not paying taxes, but those who are paying taxes all the time feeling the burden that they've been asked to pay more. Whenever there is a crisis in the country, new taxes, new cess or surcharge is introduced to fund those crises. So this small group of 1.5 crore people who are paying taxes, who have probably no other choice but to pay their portion of taxes, are all the time burdened for even further taxes. Right now, we are in the middle of pandemic. Government left, right, center is committing big expenses, big drives to support the low class people, people who are struggling to get the ends meet. But who will be paying? These 1.5 crore taxpayer eventually will end up paying through higher taxes or some sort of surcharges or one-off charges. So it will be all paid by you as a taxpayer. People hate it because there is absolutely no visible sign. What do we get in return? If you are a middle class person who goes to a job where you get paid salary, and a significant part of your salary is deducted even before you get your total pay. So your pay is already reduced with the tax that you owe to the government. But whatever money you get, you need to provide for the schooling. I think when you look around, you will find rarely a household in your circle who's sending their children to government school. They're all sending their children to fee-paying private schools. So schooling is completely taken care of by the families, by the people themselves. There is no government support available. Housing, absolutely no support. The only support government gives is that if you're paying, if you take loan on your house purchase, then you get some deduction on account of interest payment that you're paying. But otherwise, everything is paid by you from your post-tax income. There is absolutely no support for your retirement either. Healthcare, when was the last time you visited local dispensary, state-run dispensary, or um, state-run hospital? You all kind of, when you look around people in your own circle, you would find that people are going only to the private hospitals where either you have got private insurances to pay for it or you're paying from your own cash. So there is no support on healthcare. In the middle of pandemic, when we look around, even the basic vaccine, which at a mass level that the country has population for, a lot of people are struggling to find places where they can get that free of cost. My own help, my own driver spent 2 days queuing up to get that free vaccine that government is making available, but they couldn't access it. Queues were so long, information was so patchy. 1 minute the clinic is running for vaccine. Uh, when people show up, they suddenly cancel that. They are saying that the government has announced to run a polio drive and not for the vaccine drive today. So people have to go back to their work. So even my help and my driver, who are clearly in the low income strata group, they have paid for the vaccine. They are not getting the free of cost vaccine because the system is not good. You have to spend all day, take the risk of infection, and then you may end up getting some vaccine. And I can understand government's challenge too, because they have to monitor, they have to implement it at such a mass scale that's very, very difficult. But the reality is that even after paying taxes, there is no support available even for a simple vaccine to a honestly tax-paying citizen that they can get that vaccine free of cost. Absolutely no. While government does talk about various program, I think the narrative from the government is always very strong that so many people are being offered the free food, so many people are offered free vaccine and all that stuff, but the implementation on the ground is very, very poor. And therefore, people are really struggling to access those benefits that are that as per policy intent are made available for the poor class. But when you look at middle class or high class, virtually there is absolutely no correlation between the taxes that they are paying towards nation building, towards their contribution towards the nation building, and the benefit that they can avail when they need it. Absolutely no correlation because their school are fully paid by themselves, housing fully paid by themselves, healthcare fully paid by themselves, even the basic infrastructure like roads, there is a separate tax for roads. When you go to the government department and you want to get the basic services like driving license and all that stuff, you pay for those fees. There is no free kind of service available even for the basic government services. So therefore, there is a feeling amongst the large part of the population, and especially the 1.45 crore people who are actually paying taxes, is that tax payment is a penalty. It's a big stick, and I want to avoid it as far as possible. I would look for every citizen look for any opportunity that they can have to avoid paying those taxes. They hate it. They hate it completely. So why are we where we are? Tax payment is an important part of part of a citizen's role. This is basically a contribution by the citizen to help nation build and achieve higher levels. So therefore, question is that how do we change the perception? How do we change this mindset of the taxpayer that tax payment is a penalty? How do we incentivize tax payment? How do we kind of follow maybe a carrot approach as against stick approach that we have followed over the years? Let's get people excited about paying taxes. So what can be done? Of course, a lot can be done in terms of communication, calling it rightly. Um, like for example, the Modi government called for people to come forward and give up their LPG cylinder subsidy. So a lot of people came forward and stopped taking that the LPG cylinder at subsidized rate. They were paying the full rate. So people responded to the call that the Prime Minister made towards the nation building. So it's not that people don't want to do it. People want to do that as long as they feel that they are involved, they are included in the this nation building. So I think first of all, I feel that there has to be a visible thank you to the taxpayer. So narrative has to call out that it's a big thank you when people pay their taxes. A big thank you should be done. For example, when you go past on the national highway, when you're driving down, you see at every toll there is a big board which says the free entry for many roles. For example, President of India, the Prime Minister, the Cabinet Minister, Supreme Court Judge, all and ex-army people, there is a visible thank you across all the services that the government provide, where they feel that yes, you have provided your services to the nation, therefore it's a big thank you and therefore you get lots of benefits. I think we need to move towards that for every taxpayer in India. We need to kind of maybe change the name as against calling it a tax payment. We should look at calling it maybe a contribution toward nation building. So, and make it an exclusive club that people feel proud to join it. The moment they start to work, the moment they start their business, they want to pay tax so that they can proudly call it in their social circle, in their friend circle, in their family circle, that they are the taxpayer, they are the nation builder. So we need to work on the communication. We need to make sure that there is a visible thank you at every board, in government departments, in every board which is next to the toll plaza on the national highways, where we kind of call out the roles which have got free entry through those toll. We need to kind of call out first of all even a taxpayer. So taxpayer will be given a big thank you for their contribution toward the nation building. So I think that narrative has to be there, and strong narrative. We need to call it again and again so that we make sure that we inculcate that feeling of pride when people are paying taxes, as against looking for every opportunity to avoid paying taxes. There are some practical ideas that could help us move from a tax being seen as a penalty to a more of a incentive, more of a partnership where people are contributing toward that partnership as against somebody's coming and taking some tax away as a stick approach. Simple ideas I'm going to be kind of putting forward, and this is a kind of call out to the policymakers who are involved in making the policies or who know the people who will be influencing the policy making on tax matters in the future. I know some of these implementation require careful thinking, and we as a to Z Learning are committed to be part of any of those group. If we can be of any help, we are more than happy to be involved. We are volunteering our involvement. We are offering our help at absolutely no cost to the nation, to the policymakers, if we could help them implement some of these ideas. So what are my three ideas? I'm thinking of first idea is the toll plaza. Now the fast tag is in place, so it's everything is automated, everything is digital. We need to link it with the PAN card or Aadhaar card to make sure that every time when a car goes past the toll plaza, um, of a taxpayer, then they are not required to pay any tax. And a big thank you comes on the screen every time their kind of car goes past uh, the toll plaza. I think it's a very little cost that government will incur by not charging them the toll tax, but the feeling of pride that you'll incur. A lot of people, when they'll see this visible benefit, they'll come forward. They'll come forward and declare their income and pay whatever their due tax is. Second idea, why can't we look at home delivery of basic government services or access to a government representative who help taxpayers avail these services? And I'm talking about very, very simple services. This is a common issue that I want to get Aadhaar issued for my child. I want to get my phone number changed on my Aadhaar. I want to get my address updated in my Aadhaar or PAN card or driving license. These are the basic services. Right now, whether you are a taxpayer or not, you are kind of made to run from pillar to post. There are lots of touts in most of the department who are looking like eagles to grab those individuals. They charge the convenience fee to help them with these services. Why can't that service come directly from the government representative to the taxpayer? You won't believe it will kind of create a feeling of pride, and people can see that because they are taxpayer. That's the reason they can access a representative who they can call, who they can email to get some of these services either home delivered, or when they visit the government department, that representative takes care of whatever the paperwork that is needed so that they can avail that service at the most convenient way possible. Third, and the last but not the least idea, is police interaction. Police is seen as a devil in the society. Police is not seen as someone who's to protect us. Everybody wants to stay away from them. But on a day-to-day basis, we all get lots of matters where you do need to interact with police. For example, you lose your phone, you want to file an FIR. You have you want to hire a help, domestic help or driver. You need to get that person police verified. Similarly, if you have a flat or house that you want to rent it out, your tenants need to be verified from a police perspective. There are lots of basic police interaction that all of citizens kind of have to interact. Why can't we make sure that as a taxpayer, this is more easily available? Either it's online as a taxpayer because their records are already there through PAN card, PAN number, and Aadhaar number. You know everything about that individual, and they are paying taxes. They are paying taxes. So for police, if there is a feeling that yeah, they are the people who are paying for their salaries and their infrastructure and all that stuff, that's the feeling. Then taxpayer need to be felt that they are customer to the police. They are partner to the police. They are the police exists because they need to look after the society and the citizen. But that feeling is not there. There's a feeling of fear when you have to interact with police. So why can't we do a simple thing that some of these basic services, of course, if a taxpayer commits crime and all that, police need to follow its kind of own process. But some of the basic services like police verification request, FIR lodging, your domestic help police verification, tenant verification, some of these things where you need help from police, those can be easily accessible, can be easily made available for taxpayer. I would in fact go to the extent that maybe a local SHO station officer, his email or his phone number can be given to every taxpayer of that area, so that when they have problem, they can write to him or her directly, and they have to respond within whatever 36 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever is the right time frame, so that taxpayer feel that just because they are paying taxes, they are in that exclusive club that they can access their local SHO, they can access their local police station for some of these basic services. So these are my three practical ideas. If we implement, it will be less of a burden, less of a revenue lost on the part of government, but it has got huge visible advantage of uh, giving the message to taxpayer that they are the nation builders and there is a visible benefit for them to be part of the tax paying community. So I hope my ideas are helpful. If you have any alternative views, suggestions, or you have criticism to some of the ideas that I've shared in this video, please let me know through the comments. If you like the content of this video, then we would request you to please press the like button and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you so much for watching our video. And last but not least, if you've not subscribed our channel A to Z Learning yet, please subscribe and become part of our viewers family. Thank you so much.